If doing that was wrong, I don't want to be right. Screw you, SeaWorld. Woo!
8 celebrities who got arrested in public. It's typical to become enthralled by the lifestyles of our favorite celebrities. Their performances are ingrained in our memories and bring nostalgic visions of good times with good friends. So, for your viewing pleasure, we have some interesting true stories of your favorite celebrities being arrested in public for noble and foolish causes. You'll either admire them or find a great source for laughter. To join us, all you have to do is hit that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share this video. Here are 8 celebrities who got arrested in public. Number 8. Danny Glover's battle for the downtrodden. In April 2010, Danny Glover was arrested in public, albeit a great cause. According to reports from New York Daily News, Glover and 11 others in Maryland were apprehended during a labor union protest at the headquarters of Sodexo, a food service company. They claimed that they were protesting due to the unfair and illegal treatment of workers. However, Sodexo's Vice President for Employee and Corporate Relations released a statement at the time that stating, "We can tell you categorically that Sodexo recognizes and respects our workers' rights to join or not join a union as they choose." As for Danny Glover and the others arrested, they were given citations for trespassing and dodged bullet of being jailed for 90 days or paying the $1,000 fine. After the arrest, Glover tweeted via e-news, "I'm fine. Andy Stern, myself, and the org want to thank you all for your support." He then proceeded to share information on how people could assist his cause. Number 7. Martin Sheen's anti-nuclear protest. If you've heard anything about the Sheen family, you'll know they aren't strangers to getting arrested. Although Charlie Sheen is infamous for irresponsible debauchery and other foolishness, his father Martin Sheen is famous for being arrested for noble causes via peaceful protesting. In fact, in November 1986, Martin Sheen was arrested during an anti-nuclear protest at the Nevada test site entrance. He was taken into custody on misdemeanor alleged public nuisance charges and pled innocent. In his well-received statement, he proclaimed, "I love my country enough to risk its wrath to tell the truth. The only thing I'm guilty of is 46 years of silence, contributing to a national religion, nuclearism." Another memorable experience of being arrested came in May 1990 after Sheen was seen splashing a liquid that most thought was blood on the front of the downtown Federal Building in Los Angeles. This course of action was taken as a demonstration to protest against U.S. policies and those killed in El Salvador. At that time, it was reported that Martin Sheen had 68 arrests under his belt, and all of them were for peaceful protests. Number 6. Steve-O's Jackass protest. If you've ever watched just 10 minutes of any episode of Jackass, you'd understand exactly why they named that program as such. So, when one of the stars from Jackass, like Steve-O, seeks to spread light on a noble cause, he does so just like a jackass truly should. In August 2015, Steve-O had major beef with SeaWorld and decided to protest against them by climbing atop a 100-foot crane over Sunset Boulevard. During his Jackass protest, he held an inflatable Shamu balloon with the words "SeaWorld sucks." Then he proceeded to shoot off fireworks from the crane. Rolling Stone reported that Steve-O spent less than 8 hours in jail for the entire debacle, even though he was originally sentenced to jail for 30 days after pleading no contest to trespassing and illegal use of fireworks. Perhaps he didn't have to serve the 30 days in jail because he was also sentenced to 3 years of probation plus a $14,000 fine to be paid to the city of Los Angeles. The $14,000 fine could seem like cruel and unusual punishment, but for the laws that Steve-O broke, it could have been much worse. Actually, according to Los Angeles Times, Steve-O could have faced almost 5 years in jail, so he was rather lucky.
Everybody was gonna do it. That doesn't give away too much, does it? Alright.
Number 5. Woody Harrelson's protest stunt. When Woody Harrelson saw the protest stunt done by Jackass Steve-O in 2015, he probably just smiled to himself and thought, that's nothing new. Woody's tale of climbing hundreds of feet in the air in lieu of protesting goes back to 1996. Woody Harrelson was arrested after he and a few other environmentalists scaled the Golden Gate Bridge. Why would they literally rise to such heights? Well, they were protesting to save a 60,000-acre ancient redwood environment located in Northern California. When interviewers finally caught up to the famous actor, he simply said, I shamelessly and proudly call myself a tree hugger as he descended the bridge. Number 4. Mel Gibson's rants. Even Variety US edition had to bag the question, how does Mel Gibson still have a career? He has virtually been cancelled from Hollywood, and the bulk of it started in 2006 when Gibson was arrested for DUI in Malibu, and he released an anti-Semitic rant in the process. It was said that he harshly cursed out the police as well, and kept referring to one police officer as sugar tits. Just 4 years later in 2010, the Braveheart producer was captured on film yelling racist remarks, including the N-word at his then-girlfriend Oksana Gregorieva, who is also the mother of one of his 9 children. Aside from those blunders and several other routine jabs at homosexuals, and in this day and age, it's amazing to see that cancel culture can't cancel everyone in their hit list. Number 3. Ozzy Osbourne's intoxicated night in San Antonio. As for another wacky reason to head to jail, we have the legend Ozzy Osbourne. On an average February day in 1982, music icon Ozzy Osbourne urinated on the Alamo Cenotaph Monument, located right across the street from the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas. The act got him arrested for public intoxication, and he spent the rest of the day in jail before being released after posting $40 bond, according to reports. Osbourne's decision to pee not only in public was one matter, but since he exposed and relieved himself on a historical landmark, he deeply offended the city, and since the city is part of the Lone Star State, he was lucky to have only banned from performing in the city for a decade instead of the entire state for a lifetime. However, according to his testimony, the hard-partying musician was not aware that he was actually peeing on the Alamo, and he went on to frequently express regret over the immature incident. And even decades later in 2015, Osbourne continued to formalize that remorse by issuing a formal apology with a $10,000 donation to the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, the organization charged with maintaining the Alamo. Number 2. George Clooney's soft protest. George Clooney is another person on this list who is not a stranger to publicly voicing his political views. In 2016, he publicly proclaimed that Orange Man bad to paraphrase, and vowed that Trump would never be president, while indicating that Trump's message was that of hatred. Prior to that, at the beginning of 2012, George Clooney was arrested while protesting at the Sudanese embassy in Washington, D.C. Before his arrest, the award-winning actor proclaimed to CNN, "We are here really to ask 2 very simple questions. The first question is something immediate, and immediately we need humanitarian aid to be allowed into the Sudan before it becomes the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. Secondly, Clooney stated that the government in Khartoum must stop randomly killing its own innocent men, women, and children. Stop raping them and stop starving them." As for Clooney's arrest, law enforcement officers gave Clooney and a group of protesters 3 warnings prior to making arrests. Clooney was charged with disorderly crossing of a police line, a misdemeanor, and ended up paying a $100 fine rather than appearing in court. Number 1. James Brown's toilet limit. He is a legend of funk, R&B, and soul. As a matter of fact, during his reign, James Brown was often referred to as the King of Soul. But it would be remiss if we forgot to mention that he was also the king of frequent incarceration. James Brown had more than numerous run-ins with the law. And you're going to hear about the most bizarre incident. In 1988, someone attending an insurance seminar next door to his office used his toilet without permission. Perhaps he was under loads of stress because at that moment, he completely snapped. Like a bat out of hell, Brown marched into the insurance seminar with a shotgun and pistol in hand and warned the attendees to cease and desist from trespassing through his office. But since he had no legal authority to threaten people with loaded weapons of arsenal, the police were quickly on the scene. He then led police on a chase across state lines that didn't end until they emptied 23 bullets into his tires, making it one of the most bizarre public celebrity arrests recorded in history. Which of these stories do you think is most awkward? Give your thoughts down below. Then be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring the notification bell.